Hello chaps, and welcome to my build update number 2 for the Eduard limited edition 1/48 scale Hawker Tempest Mk.V. This is my entry into Tim Hedworth's RAF 100 in scale group build that ends on July 15th, so there's still 1 month left to go if you want to join in and build something. Anyway, at build update number 1, I'd prepared parts ready for assembly, primed them, and put on base colours. In this build update we're going to detail paint both the resin and injection moulded cockpits, assemble them and assemble the model. That's the resin seat with the PE seat belts ready to go. That's all the resin cockpit parts detail painted with all the PE parts in place. That's a side-by-side comparison of the resin instrument panel on the left and the injection moulded panel on the right. These are the 2 resin cockpit sidewalls with all PE parts in place. That's the resin firewall and ejector seat. Pilot seat with straps in place. This is the resin floor on the left and the resin footrests and foot pedals with all PE parts in place. And that's the PE assembled on the front of the air intake. The PE grill there, that's the underside. That's the port side injection moulded panel for the cockpit. That's the injection moulded cockpit assembled except for the port side panel, the instrument panel and the gun sight. There's the port side panel and instrument panel ready to be assembled. I then detail painted the inside of the fuselage halves around the cockpit area. That's the port side and that's the starboard side detailed. I then put a gloss clear coat into the instrument panel dials to make it look like glass. And there's the injection moulded parts ready for assembly. That's all the resin parts ready for assembly. Couple of views of those. But before they were assembled, I gave everything a flat clear coat, seal all that detail work. I then assembled the injection moulded cockpit, less the gun sight. That will go on when the model's built up, before putting on the windshield so I don't accidentally knock it off. There's a resin cockpit all assembled except for again the gun sight. Took a few views of this. As you can see, I've got the port side panel in an open position so you can see in. This is going to be a separate assembly standing next to the model. I didn't want to use this in the model because there's so much detail there. I didn't want to lose it. So I then moved on with assembly. There's the air intake in place and the spindle for the propeller. I then assembled the PE rear wheel bay floor. I then assembled the 2 fuselage halves together and the injection moulded cockpit sitting there ready to be pushed in from the underside. There it is in place, and as you can see you don't see a lot of it, so it would have been a waste of time putting in the resin, nice resin PE set. I then assembled the wings onto the fuselage, followed by the horizontal stabilizers. I then filled in joints with sprue goo where there were gaps, hairline gaps. That's the tail end on the top side with sprue goo in place, and that's the underside front. And that's the underside of the tail end with sprue goo. I then moved on to assembling the PE wheel bay doors, folding them, gluing them, making them ready. Then put them on cocktail sticks and prime them with black Stynel res. Then airbrushed interior grey onto them and did the same with the rear wheel bay. I then dry brushed some aluminium to make it look like there's some wear and tear on the doors and inside the wheelbase. After that was done, I smoothed down all the joints, got that sprue goo smoothed down, and then sealed it with some Tamiya thin. So all the joints cleaned up, ready for the next stage, which was razor sawing out the front leading edges where the gun port's going to go, and then glued those two gun ports in place, so 2 guns on each wing, total of 4. I then put a gloss clear coat onto the wheel bay doors and inside the wheel bays. They're the 2 front main wheel bays, and there's a rear wheel bay sealed with gloss clear coat. I then stuck in the injection moulded gun sight there, followed by the PE guide rail for the sliding canoper. I then used the wheel bay doors as masks and temporarily located them using putter. I then formed the shape on the rear wheel bay doors and temporarily located them. And then the last thing I did was put on the gun sight and painted that, the resin PE gun sight, for the resin assembler. I then used the Eduard masks, first time I've used pre-cut masks on the windshield and the canoper, and then finished off the sliding canopy with Tamiya tape. Glued the windshield in place, temporarily located the sliding canopy with putter because I want that in the open position. I then used the Eduard masks for the landing lights. I then masked the air intake with some damp tissue, and everything was done. All she needed now was a clean down with some isopropyl alcohol to make her ready for a primer. There she is, top side's primed with grey stynol res, and that's the underside primed. So that's it guys for this update. Thanks for watching, and until the next update, build update number 3, which will cover painting and decaling. So until then guys, Talio, chocks away.